Hello, friends. This is Tony Bain. And this afternoon, we're going to talk about who am I? Not who am I, Tony. Who am I? Who are you? Who are we as energetic beings? And so I love this. I love this portion of anytime I teach it. So truly in my frame of reference, there is only one presence and one power. That presence and power is based upon the laws. The laws are unchanging. They're unchanging, they're absolute, and they work. They work. If a law is true, the law of prosperity, the law of abundance, the law of momentum, if a law works, the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, the law of giving and receiving, if the law works, and the law does work, but it works according to your claim and understanding and knowing of it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about the idea that within us is this true self, this divine self, this Christ consciousness, this Buddha consciousness, nirvana. It doesn't matter what you call it, God, spirit. It is within us. And what I know is that when we begin to tap into this and recognize that there is, some people call it source energy, some people call it the unified universal impulse. That's what I like to call it. I like to call it the universal impulse. And when I am tapping into that universal impulse, and I don't know that I tap into it so much as it just really is descends upon me, and here it is. And some days I am so clearly in that field, just so clearly in that field. And when that field is so present within me, I know that I am leading edge consciousness. And I know that there is this unified field of consciousness in which I live and breathe and move and have my being, and that universal impulse is that field of consciousness, and that whatever I choose to create in it will be created in accordance to my understanding and level of awareness, of truth. But of truth, of who I am and how I see myself as that I am consciousness. So let me give you an example. When I say I'm leading edge consciousness. So let's say I want the law of prosperity, the law of abundance. I like the law of abundance to be at work in my life. But if I hold an old belief that says I don't have enough, I'm not enough, I can affirm all I want. Today is the day of my amazing good fortune, and only prosperity will come to me today. All channels of good are open in my life. I can affirm that, but if my next thought is, I don't know. I just don't know. I look at my checkbook. And so it's according to the claim that I make of my knowing of who I am. For me, I know that I know that I know I cannot outgive God, that I live in an abundant universe, and only abundance abounds in my life. And I know today is the day of my amazing good fortune. It just happens. It is now who I am, how I live. It lives in the cellular structure. The cellular structure, the DNA of my being has the field has been cleared of any thoughts of lack or want, that I just don't go there anymore and just don't have those thoughts. And the only reason I say that is, friends, you too, because I want to tell you a story. When I was little, I used to have these dreams, like 4, 5, 6 years old, that if I went out to the trees, there was, abundance of money. The leaves would turn to dollar bills, run my hand through the grass. Gold coins would come up. So I just thought I was the richest little girl that ever lived. And then I climbed up into my uncle's lap when I was about 6. And I said, "Oh, Uncle." And I looked into his big blue eyes and I said, "I have a secret. I am so rich. I am so rich." And I told him everything that was happening. And he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, honey, that's a wonderful dream, but you are not rich. Look at your clothes. Those are tattered and torn. You're not going to get any better. And sweetheart, you live in Frog Hollow." He said, "You better get used to the life that you're really going to live." In that moment, my dream was shattered. It took me 23 years later to discover who I was. And in fact, I became so stingy that I had an aunt that took me on a trip to the Bahamas, and she borrowed 10 cents from me. And I hounded her for 24 hours for that 10 cents. Until finally she said, "I brought you on this trip. I'm not giving you that dime back." It wasn't until I found New Thought and I started to awake to the idea that I am more than I think I am. And then those dreams started to come alive, and then I started tithing, and the dreams came alive even more. And so, friends, we live in an abundant universe. And the more you give, the more you will receive. And I know that may seem strange at first, but I want you to know that that is truth. That is the law. And now I know you cannot outgive God. You can't, because this is such an abundant universe that when you give in a consciousness of openness and receptivity, and you are receptive because you have claimed the truth of who you are as an abundant being, being, only good can come back to you. And so it is, friends, that I invite you to know right now, today is the day of my amazing good fortune, and prosperity abounds in every corner of my life. God bless you all. Have an abundant, prosperous day. Remember, abundance is who you are in consciousness. Prosperity is what you demonstrate. And the law works according to how you work it. Have a great day.